And hello everyone to the first grand finals of EUSC. Great tournament coming in here as we have the number 2 EUSA team Hot Tofu versus the number 3 team in EUSL Vibe Check. Well, not Vibe Check, but the wild cards actually kind of had to pull one out of my wild card pocket. And today I'm here with SMG, ready to bring you the first grand finals and possibly maybe the only one if season 5 doesn't exist.
Yeah, exciting one here, and we've got, you know, possibly pretty important stakes on the line. I think going to this, unsurprisingly, the expectation was the grand finals would be a couple of USL teams, and even out of the USL teams, I think a lot of people might have thought, it would be VAS and Lockdown, maybe Blob Gap. So I'd say both these teams kind of surprising that they're here, but shown, in terms of their leagues, wild cards, number three after their victory against Lockdown yesterday in the tiebreakers, and Hot Tofu at number two in USA. So both very strong in terms of their leagues. I think definitely wildcards are the favorites here, just being the USL team, just being the highest seed. But Hot Tofu, they've beaten some USL teams to get here, so either team can show the other what's up.
Yeah, for starters, talk about the group stage where Autofu came from. Autofu was in a group with Don't Ask and Lockdown. They ended up winning the second seed. And on the other side, Wildcards actually losing its Vibe Check and then beating Wickham Prayer and then getting kind of being put in that little bit of predicament to get themselves up to speed. And then in the knockout stage, see that again, Card beating out Turkey's Cats and then moving on to beat Voss to qualify, and Tofu beating out Jeremy's Circus and then winning against Vibe Check. So in the group stage, at least, Card lost the Vibe, but Hot Tofu beat Vibe Check. So see a little bit of a surprising game if they manage to at least take a game off, especially if they're going to be winning against a team that Card has lost to.
Yeah, absolutely. Now looking at this draft here, we have Demolitionist and Chronoboost run Clarion. Um, yeah, I'm not surprised to see the Octavia pickup here for the side of wildcards. They're probably the team in both leagues that's most motivated to pick it. Honestly, the biggest surprise to me is that it wasn't picked first. Of course, the now is banned out by Hot Tofu, so I'm sure they were considering what they least wanted to play into out of the Octavia and the Now and the Chronostat, and chose the lesser of two evils in their eyes. And then Wildcards banged the rune away with something that Nitron has played in USA for them, and it's been quite successful. And it's just quite annoying on this map, even though it's not, the best rune start of all time. It's still a threatening pick on this map. And in terms of the rest of the draft, the Atlas Drek, I think just solid, stable. You know what they do. It's quite simple, and we know what the game plan will be. They'll just try and fill their roles and let the Octavia take up the bulk of the core control here. But on the other side, I'm interested to see where the Kai and the SL are gonna go. I think we've probably seen those go in either role for Hot Tofu over the course of the seasons. I think that possibly Wood tends to like the Estelle a bit more, but I think the Estelle is maybe a bit better in the midfield here, playing into the Octavia, so we'll have to see. And then Big Shot, of course, on his classic Juliet, nothing too surprising there.
Everyone kind of going what were expected to heading into this first game. And keep in mind, this is a single Elam tournament. There will be no bracket reset, so all the marbles are going to be cast onto the playing field as we get started and see what's going up. Both teams playing their full roster, so it's going to be Pigshot, Wood, and Nitron versus Lucas, Ivy Snivy, and Nero heading into this first matchup. And I'm surprised, again, you said earlier, surprised where the Kai and Juliet will end up here. And will they actually end up avoiding Curse of the Burger Boxer and not die? And it's Nitron and Wood actually picking Estelle and Kai respectively. And the Kai in the goal box is going to prove a little bit of a challenge if you really want to get anywhere.
It certainly might. So going into this, Octavia's just going to pop her secondary already. I'll have to see what their offensive structure is going to look like here. If they'll just assign Ivy on the out clear and force them to play into the Octavia. Although they do get her speed already, so that's a nice boon early on, and it means that this Estelle for now is going to have an advantage in the midfield. They're trying to work through the bottom side, but have some nice back and forth play between Nitron and Wood. That's meaning the core is permanently in their possession. Nice dash punch there, gets the hit stun, and he also gets the barrier at first to hit level 2 as Pig Shot, but scary spot for Wood. I can't believe he saved that though, with just the strike. Super well played, and now it looks like there's a heavy advantage, I'd say, here for the side of Hot Tofu.
Lucas being bailed out with the ult, and now Wood still in a very good advantage for themselves. The Kai just being very speedy, and I realized just trying to find really anything in terms of any knockback KOs, especially since it's set 1, there's not really much to do, and Pigshot with the flip, trying to get set up here, and Nitro trying to pass back, but it's Lucas with the return, and with the barrier too, so now they're going to be in a little bit of advantage coming into this, especially if you see how the offense is kind of already set up here.
Yeah, nice attempt there by Pig Shot, but was completely shut down. But speaking of shut down, that's a kill onto the Octavia here. Estelle cooldowns have both come out there, but what an unfortunate bounce there. Bounce up and then down onto the edge of that corner and into the net. I mean, not too predictable for Ivy, I think, but nothing you want to see if you're a fan of wildcards, I'm sure.
First barrier already down, and the way that Luke has been playing this Octavia, it's pretty aggressive considering how low energy the other team is. Pigshot a little bit worse for wear coming into this. Will actually get the orb on the other side as we're trying to set up Nitro and 2 flips on the back line. Getting something done. Pigshot again taking a lot of flack, but still able to live.
Yeah, trying to play around that orb with Nero in the back line, was able to get it, but Ivy with a scary attack here, Wood not going to flip, but it does mean that her barrier is lost. Now on the other side though, you know, Nitron also has a flip to his name, and Lucas's speed has run out, so I think he has a good chance here to try and put pressure. But Pigshot is still, you know, a bit worse for wear right now, so it's hard for them to get an actual offense going with their brawler unable to try and actually apply more pressure. And Ivy just trying to do some damage. The Atlas primary's coming out, the direct shotgun as well, and then a great strike afterwards. Ivy scoring 2 goals back to back in this game.
No more energy for the side of Hot Tofu. Picture now with a bar, but will it be enough to avoid the onslaught of Ivory Elias trying to find a lot of the damage KOs in this game on the Era Orb now, and while it's getting targeted, won't fall though due to the Octiolan, and again will pop the flip to try to get some advantage as the offense still pushing up, and Wood still with a great clear. The entire defense of Hot Tofu is holding on, and now a little bit less time for them to work with as Pigshot dribbles back or trying to regain position and possession of the core, as Lucas again still has the Opti secondary ready to go, and Ivory Elias captures second barrier with the Era Orb, and now the defense for Nero looking a little bit steady with Flip ready to go as they set up for the defense. Wildcards end up holding on and will actually find the KO too, as again Lucas and Ivory Elias looking to try to capitalize on this power play. Nitron trying to defend with Wood, but it all seems for naught now as Ivory Elias captures the 3rd point of this set.
Yeah, I think that was great strike patience from Wood there. Of course, we could see this Drek, but she could not see this Chrono Boost Drek for a couple of those strike wars. So it was nicely played, but of course, there's only so much you can do. And it seems to be a struggle of this Hot Tofu team that they're playing into a surprising amount of damage if you look at the enemy comp here. And it just seems like Pigshot has for the last couple of points been kind of out of the game, and I think it's actually going to be Nitron out of the game right now, especially on this map where he can just be contained in that goo for a long time, whereas this Octavia is just going to get some Atlas healing. Lucas still, you know, not the healthiest, but able to just retreat and get an orb, which Nitron doesn't seem to have the luxury of. Nice blink though to dodge away from the direct shotgun, and it's actually Pigshot the one staggered right now. Still though, it is Hot Tofu with a nice offensive chance here, and they do manage to force flip of Nero.
No flip and pick shot off the map. Ivory Lies still controlling the core, and we'll have a lot of this interaction to work with Wood with a great clear to keep the core away from the offensive wild cards, but the drag coming closer, inching closer to getting that set win as pick shot comes back online now. Hot Tofu in a little bit of a predicament trying to burst through and get away from the Octu second, but the Octu secondary still doing great wonders for Lucas, able to keep it, but not for long as Nitron again trying to rotate the core downwards, and Ivory Lies trying to get into position with Flip raring to go as again Lucas tries to clear the pathway and will find the strike perfectly to the bottom corner as Wildcards pick up their first set, and that allows for a lot of scaling for them.
Yeah, and it is this Jakar with the MVP here. Lots of scary options on the board. I think nothing too insane. Like, there's not a rapid fire, but of course there's the bulk up here. And there's a lot of stagger options that I think everyone is kind of looking out for right now. It's going to be the peak taken by this midfielder of Nitron, which does mean the aerials are going to fall to this already Chrono Boost having Octavia, which is rather scary to contend with, I think. Now on the back foot, I'm kind of unsure about this 1-2 punch pick on Kai. I think that the extra special probably would have just been a better pick. I do like the Berserker on pick shot here. He's definitely been getting low enough to proc and get some value off it. But yeah, I'm not so sure about giving the Atlas the extra special and not just taking it on the Kai here.
Couple of strikes won by Ivory Lies, be able to get 2 barriers for their troubles. Back pass coming through, trying to rotate the core downwards as Nitron again still taking a lot of damage. This team comp especially actually on the receiving end of a lot of damage. Even the Berserker pickup, pick shot's the one not really taking a lot of damage, and it's still Nitron the one taking all of those hits. Octio coming online as Ivory Lies loses strike war to Wood with a great strike war win, but the ability ends up coming in, and abilities will always win against the strike.
Yeah, certainly, and just a commanding offense, great usage of cooldowns there, and it's looking like Wildcards are trying to take this one by storm. After an iffy first set from them, they've taken more advantage of just the speed that this Octavia has gotten through this draft, and Ivy as well looking so strong on the Drek, already has worked her way up to a flip, which I'm sure she won't be hesitant to use. Probably, I think, looking for a kill right now. She's kind of lurking. If the ball goes in this corner pocket, I think she's going to try and kill Pig Shot, but Pig Shot savvy enough to try and avoid it. Although the Drek shotgun is enough. Flip comes out to no avail though. So it does give Hot Tofu a chance, but still, the Octavia with the flip, with the speed, with the kill, and everything is turning out in Wildcard's favor right now.
Nitron and Wood looking to keep the goal away, but the barrage a little bit too late as Ivory Lies to Jakar again picking up another point for Wildcards. And with this team, with this roster, I mean, they're the ones now with a lot of energy. Nitron and Wood carrying the bulk of the energy for Hot Tofu. They earn 1 barrel already as Picture tries to go for the dash. And of course now they're the ones just trying to find some way to bring themselves back into the game. Nitron having to blink away to get the orb, but the Octu will capture the big orb in the middle. Flip comes out, and another flip for Nero will clear it out away. The first barrier taken for Ivory Lies, and almost a second too, but a great clear from Wood keeps it away and also earns flip in the process too. But Pigshot on the other side with the offense, being 4, and a great actual dribble from Pigshot to send it right back to him to set up for the bottom corner there.
I mean, that was smooth from Pigshot there. A great dash run to the bottom corner of the barrier as well, and the self dribble. That was nice. That's not an easy angle to hit, especially just flicking backwards onto such a small space. So nicely done. For the first time, I think we're seeing this variant of Clarion. I think it's a very polarizing map. You can see a lot of crazy things. I'm sure both of these brawlers might be looking for some mega cheese kills off the edges here. But right now, Hot Tofu, who do have the offense, I think the Kai has a nice advantage over the Atlas in terms of being able to assist in the midfield, and with the move speed it's very nice to have 3 players controlling the ball, and it's actually Pigshot finding that second barrier, I guess, in the game, and finding a double kill with the flip. So much value provided, and that was rather dominant on this variant, at least for the side of Hot Tofu.
That double kill onto Lucas and Nero resets their energy, and I presume they had a lot of energy coming into this, so it was a very, very win-win situation for Hot Tofu, and now Ivory lies with Flip raring to go, and the Octio coming online, forcing the evade from Nitro and taking a little bit of the energy tax away, as again the core are being pushed onto the bottom side of this Obscura variant. Lucas taking a lot of the hits, and they will in the second barrier though, and will be saved by the Atlas Res. So now again, Lucas with a lot of control, and just look how this defense is playing. Nitro and Wood still staying alive in the heat of the moment, trying to set up pick shot for an angle, but again, still with the core rushing around, and Lucas trying to shoot up pick shot. Nothing too much found, and pick shot again banished to the other side as Wood tries to eagerly defend and will actually succeed in doing so, but the Strike Wars will be won by the Octavia to set wildcards up for another set win.
Yeah, unfortunately, Wood, in her attempt to defend, was kind of forced to step over the orb that Pigshot was vying for, and it meant he kind of just had to leave and vacate the area as he was still staggered. So rough spot for him, and rough for the set of Hot Tofu as this Drek is going to get Catalyst here as a first pick, and that's very terrifying, I think. Of course, the Judy has good options here, maybe the Spark, yeah, it's not so bad and has some scaling, but they do need to win a couple sets to get the sparks in order. The Hotshot Deny coming out here, but Estelle going to be quite happy, I think, here with the Among Titans, especially considering that Nitron already has Demolitionist, so just going to be back to normal size. The Monio on Atlas, just a classic, does what it has to here. And then finally, I think there are some other characters that would like this Kai build of 1-2 punch Adrenaline Rush a bit more than Kai himself, but we'll have to see what Wood can cook with it.
Great save from Nero, saving Lucas's life and putting him back into the play with one barrier piece taken from both teams here. Pickshot trying to find anything, but the corner just isn't right for him this time around. Ivory lies taking up the second barrier, and again, just look how Lucas is doing with the speed as well, even though they're trying to set up right now. Nitron is having a little bit of a hard time fighting Pickshot on these angles, and still the core just isn't going away. Great save from Nero still, and actually ending up clearing the core completely away from the onslaught, as now Lucas trying to set things up right. Julie with the dash, finding a second barrier, as well as two flips for the side of wildcards. Isn't a great look if you are on the side of Hot Tofu. Lucas trying to push up the bottom corner, trying to force the agenda, as the flip is great from Ivory Lie, sending it to the top corner. And again, just so many opportunities to score for Ivory Lies in this game.
Absolutely. I think Hot Tofu had great chances there. They had a nice offense breaking the barrier, but inevitably, they got to the other side, and then both of the enemy forwards had a flip to their name, and the Catalyst certainly isn't helping with that. Flip forced by this Octavia, and actually finds a kill onto Nitron, as well as getting the flip of Pigshot, so a lot of value from Lucas there. Possibly there's chances for a hold here. Barrage is out now though, and the Octavia is still speedy, but great ult from Pigshot, shutting down Nero's flip there, and gives Nitron the opportunity to respawn and break the first barrier.
Given back to Pigshot, and Ivory Lie trying to set themselves up for something nice here. Ult coming from Octavia, and again the offense just needs to be stalled out, and the defense is trying to do their best, but still the core possession still belongs to the side of wildcards. Giga Blast incoming, and again Wood with a beautiful clear, trying to set their offense for success, but the core just ends up going the wrong way at all times.
Yeah, right now, as you said, the core is just not going in their favor. But it is now Hot Tofu looking for something, but Ivy catches it with the shotgun, and once again, she just has flip in both these rounds, so just shoot it wherever the enemies are not. I mean, potentially Hot Tofu are just, I think they could be covering the net better in the face of a flip, have one person cover the corner that Wood isn't, but outside of that, I mean, basically, it's just too much energy for them to deal with right now, and possibly too much speed. Although a bit of a misstrike from Nero does mean Lucas's secondary is going to run out here. His flow state is gone, but still, they do have the offense. And it's actually a counterattack potentially, but completely shut down with a kill from Ivy, and I think she's working her way up to the barrier, forces the flip, and it's looking like it's going to be another wildcards point.
Another energy, great for Ivory Lies with the flip raring to go. Ult for Pigshot stalls the core out for a little longer, but the flip again for the other teammates of Wildcards. Lucas sending it home in desirable fashion. 3-0 clean sweep for Wildcards to take the first game of Clarion Test Chamber. And now, with one game off already, and looking at the map draft, just trying to see what they can do better this time around. And obviously, with just a great performance like that, Hot Tofu are going to be in a little bit of a pickle, but it's okay still because next is the Inky Splashdown. Actually, very fun map, and especially picked by Hot Tofu in this game. They're going to try to look for something to try to bring themselves back from the depths of hell, or as I say, the depths of Inkies, because not a lot of people like this map. And although Clarion Chess Chamber does go to cards, it was their map pick too. So if Hot Tofu are going to try to find a win here, it would be on their map pick, and especially since their first pick here, the Wrong Awakenings could come out.
Yeah, absolutely. As you said, first pick here on this map right now. I wonder what Hot Tofu are thinking in terms of their adaptations going into this next game. I wonder if they're going to change the draft a bit. It was a bit unfortunate for them having to choose between the Now or the Octavia, and also meant that the Drek was on the cards. But on Inkies, I mean, if they get a more favorable Awakening start, possibly, I think there's a lot better chances here for the side of Hot Tofu.
Of course, with their side, trying to find anything for Hot Tofu this time around. An Inky Splashdown, I mean, it's a very open map compared to the Clarion Test Chamber. And obviously, with this, they're going to be kind of on, if they prepped well, this should be an interesting, easy game for them as we are being connected to the drafter. Drafting here and just seeing what could possibly happen in just the Awakening rotation. Not really too much to go around. And obviously with how Ivory Lies and Lucas Balls 441 playing that game out, of course, then it kind of just leaves the question up for debate. What are they going to ban here? And with Inkies being their map pick, wildcards are kind of in the favorable spot, especially even though Hot Tofu have the map pick. It's going to be a rough time for them because they have to figure out a game plan between banning out the Octavia if they think it's a really interesting pick and they just don't want to go up against it, or if it's the Drakkar. And of course the Drakkar, I mean, they scored a lot of goals, let's be clear. Drakkar kind of found really everything. 6+1 for them and only 3 goals for the Octavia. But do we really think Drakkar is the problem here? But that's up to Hot that's for Hot to decide.
Yeah, I mean, it all depends on this. Of course, it's going to be blue side here for wildcards, which, yeah, gives them, a bit of a differing. Well, they've got the same. They had blue side last game, right? So they have the same options. Maybe like first pick the Drek like they did before. It seems like if we were to judge based on what wildcards prioritized, it was the Drek that was the problem. But possibly that was just as a result of them knowing, you know, there's still Octavia and Kai both open for Lucas in the midfield with the Chrono Boost. And here, once again, it's going to be a speed start, actually. Estelle Kai ban traded. Not too surprising on this map. And it's Among Titans aerial start. I'm pretty sure everyone's going to lock in the Among Titans here. And yeah, like we've been saying, once again, it's the Drakkar first pick. And now Hot Tofu going to pick Atlas and Amy here in the back line. Interesting.
Yeah, Amy and Atlas, two kind of characters that might dominate here, especially of how they've been playing previously. I mean, the Alice pick definitely going over to Wood. She's going to be a little bit more comfy this time around, especially with how Alice can kind of hold down one side of the map or one side of the barrier. And wild cards on the chopping block. We'll pick up the Luna, Drakkar Luna on the start. And Finny is our last, actually. So now again, another kind of heavy damage comp kind of revolving around this. I mean, they also have the speed too with the Among Titans draft. So they get speed and a bunch of damage if they're able to scale properly. So Hot Tofu again in need of a brawler. Will they go for the Juliet here? Time ticking away, and I don't think there really is a choice. I mean, Juliet looked pretty nice in this team comp, a lot of shoving force, and there we go, Juliet being picked up for Hot Tofu. So it's going to be a very interesting game. I mean, the stuffing potential against the Finny is very strong, especially Aimi Juliet. But can the maneuverability of cards end up winning another game and taking the series with them?
I think that this is actually direct goalie. That's going to be my prediction. I think this is Mini, and then Luna Brawler here, and then Nero's going to be rocking the Drek in the net. That's my expectations, just based on who these players are. I think, yeah, as you mentioned, like for a different team, this could definitely be Finny goalie, Luna midfield, Drek Brawler. But based on the players here, I'm expecting this to be a Luna Brawler, the Mini for Lucas. And then Nero's just going to try and lock it down in this matchup against the Juliet here. And I'm wondering if Hot Tofu uh, were aware that they would be playing into the Drek here with the Julie. I do think her ult is quite good at playing into Drek. But outside of that, the dash punch can be shut down. You kind of have to play off the ball. It's hard to play through the Drek as Julie, I think. So there's going to be a lot of onus on the midfield of Nitron here to get the ball up, especially with a more melee character in their net than in the previous game, where Wood could try and run up and help the aggression. Now she's just trying to lock it down. And I think they might have just kind of picked the Atlas because they thought, okay, what do I want to defend against Drek? But it kind of wildcards finesse them a little bit because, hey, you're not going to be Atlas into another shoving character. You're going to have to deal with me dashing everywhere, playing the ball around you, and it might become a bit of a nightmare for the back line of Hot Tofu. We'll have to see.
Interesting start here. Everyone's taking Among the Titans, and both goalies actually opting for the structure. Actually, both actual forwards here actually opting for the slick kicks and an early barrier take for Page. I will seal the deal for that side. I realize and Lucas trying to set things up, but the Aqua Cannon already coming into full effect, and the glitch pop for Nitron stunning out Lucas, earning the first point in very quick fashion for Hot Tofu.
Yeah, just rapid. I mean, classic Inky's point that goes, you blink and you just miss it. But we'll have to see if Hot Tofu can replicate that because outside of early barrier takes and goals like that, they need a good game plan structurally. And it almost looked like, they had that game plan locked down. Picshot almost finding that second barrier, but Nero shutting it down and doing a lot of damage at the same time. And I think it might be a bit of a nightmare for Pigshot in this game where he's playing not only into the Drek, who's going to always shotgun him, but into the Luna and Finny, who want nothing more than to take his head. And what they take for now is the barrier as well as Nitron's flip here.
Two flips and a great Juliet stalls it away as Wood still holding very strong, and a KO2 helps the side of Hot Tofu regain their footing after they lost barrier. And no one's under their kill 2 coming online as Pigshot still has the flip raring to go. Basically up for grabs now. Great shotgun for Nero, but the onslaught still is oncoming. He actually burned the flip to try to get anything done, but the flip also comes up from Pigshot too. Great save by Nero to keep it alive, but the strike ward will eventually be won, and Nitron in a good spot, as well as Wood having to pop their own flip to bring it home. But Ivory lies still on the side of scoring here, and Pigshot and Nitron just need to pass back and forth. And eventually, even though the pass comes in clutch, Ivory lies still ends up getting the core and sending it right through past Wood to earn the first point for wildcards.
Yeah, I think just has to be a lock in there in the midfield for Hot Tofu. Caught off guard was Nitron by that Molten Bolt of the Drakkar, and he's caught off guard by all the damage as well. The Atlas ult is going to come down, but it's rather pathetic healing basically, and Ivy just going to wait it out and confirm with a dash there. So it's on Wood and Pigshot to stall here. It's not super easy for them to get it through the mid here. Field here, I think, if Wood and Pigshot are walking up and taking space. So they don't actually get the barrier out of the power play, but Ivy lurking for a kill, for a barrier with flip, yeah, gets the cheese kill. And once again, I mean, this might be the start of the loop of power plays here.
Play established and go one, and wildcards again up in points with a great strike layering and ability layering from both Ivory Lies and Lucas. And Lucas with flip going on the Finny midfield. I'm very surprised to pick it and get another kill. This time, I think just the knockback KO ends up taking the life, and miscommunication, but great defense from Nitron and Wood trying to stay away from the dangers of what could come on. Pigshot back online, and the Finny ult again doing so much work, even getting the core past everyone and finding the perfect angle for Ivory Lies to take that point. And now Ivory Lies MVP at the set. A lot of things that could come on. More damage even ready to go. And Missile Prop Deadeye waiting to be picked.
Yeah, as you said, some crazy awakenings here. I mean, if you don't take the missile prop, the Alice is going to get it. So it is going to be Ivy opting for it. And it also means that this mini can potentially just pick up the Deadeye. Maybe wants to deny Stagger and take Reptile. Yeah, I think that's wise. But does mean Explosive Entrance is going to go over to this Amy. So that's quite nice for her. And once again, Pigshot going to get the Berserker here. But he's kind of been 100-0'd a couple times, or cheese kill before he can potentially get any Berserker value, right? I think we're kind of seeing this matchup in the brawlers of Luna and Julie, where both want to cheese kill the other one, but one can just do it from a lot further away and with a lot more safety. And Pigshot been struggling so far in this game. We'll have to see if he can make his way back into it. But right now it's Nitron on the back foot in terms of health.
Barrier taken for Pigshot, as Nitron again taking a lot of damage. They do have the Aqua Cannon to keep their hopes alive for now, as Wood and Picture try to connect here. Nitron again still taking a lot of damage, as a great upwards play from Nero takes the barrier. Nitron knocked out as well as Wood by Ivory Lies, and not even missile pop out, just the pure, just good skill play, and knowing that they can't really step anywhere else, as Wood has to try to contest that, earns them a lot of free energy for this, especially the energy reset onto Wood. So now Pigshot trying to get back into the play, trying to put their team back on the map, and the barrier taken is a good sign for them to start, as Wood just needs to connect here, as the Aqua Cannon for the red side still looking good, as Pigshot secures it with the Julie ult.
Yeah, and it was a long point and well fought battle there by Hot Tofu to recover from early on in that set, or in that point rather, and nicely done. That was very necessary, but unfortunately for them, it's a quick start here. Ivy unable to actually find the perfect timing of her ult, but I think the damage may just have been done already. A Nitron taken very low, their barrier down, and it is actually a great dash from him though, punishing a clear of Nero there. He's still staggered, trying to run around, but with the cooldowns of the enemy brawler out, I don't think they have chances. And a great dash punch punishes Lucas's lackadaisical positioning, I guess, and a great strike found to the bottom side as well by Pigshot. And hey, I mean, if you're not gonna find the kill confirm on Nitron, he's gonna punish you for it.
Brawler finding kills is a good sign for Hot Tofu to step up their game and try to get a set back on their map pick, as Pigshot brings the core forwards and will actually bait out Nero's flip, and Nero saves it just in time, but now he's on the receiving end of a lot of damage coming into this. Without an evade, it becomes a little bit harder to get through this Julie DP, and of course the passing lane still from Ivory Lies. Luna dashing in and will able to save it, will be bailed out by the Atlas secondary as the Aqua Cannon for the blue side comes online. Pigshot still with flip, trying to find a kill, and will actually burn it for the kill, but the kill won't be found, as Wood again being rescued by their own Atlas ult sets them up still, as Nitron pick up barrier. And again, just with this offense, it just looks so oppressive, but Pigshot still in the range, and will find the DP, won't find the core though, as Nitron and Pigshot try to work up this bottom side. The defense still coming strong. Nero saving completely away, and actually will get Nitron's flip out, but the own goal from the mini will send it home for Hot Tofus to pick up their first set win.
All good. Hey, if you flip and then you score a couple seconds later, you basically scored with flip. We'll ignore what Lucas did in that one. But yeah, Pigshot rewarded here with the MVP. Unfortunately for him, this Drek has rapid fire right behind him. So yeah, I think unfortunately Julie may be the character in the game that least wants rapid fire, but still she'll have to pick it up. Does mean the Drek still gets team player though, and this Luna is also going to get a glass cannon, which I think is quite scary. And honestly, all of the awakenings on the side of wildcards are rather intimidating. The Finny here gonna be moving way too fast for the Amy, possibly. I mean, of course, she did pick up some speed, but not as much as Lucas has, and has the reptile to sustain despite, the downsides of having the OIA.
DP missed and core control is still trying to be established here. Ivory lies, almost getting KO'd off the map, but still take a lot of damage though, as they need to step out the play for a little bit. Wood on the offensive side with the strike shot intercepting any play coming in. Ivory lies still again taking a lot of damage as Nero and Balls have to try to push the agenda for themselves. Pickshot working around and everything trying to go in the favor of either side. The damage still coming online as Pickshot might be the one the first to fall, but still with the Berserker now able to get into the play and try to do as much damage as possible before they go out. Nero on the receiving end and Lucas being put in a dire spot. Everyone is taking so much damage in this game, and of course Lucas the one trying to push the goal, the core into the net, and again, the save from the Atlas will keeps the play alive, keeps everyone alive as overtime again is taking the core red, flip, wasted, and bird for Ivory Lash trying to get some sort of agenda going on. Nero still with flip, will actually burn their flip too, so now 2 flips burn as Pickshot can try to find any kill for that matter. Hot Tofu with the energy advantage, but will actually give up their energy advantage for a little bit as the barrier is found, and now Hot Tofu in a weird spot. The flip gone for both sides, and Ivory Lies will be able to capitalize and send it to the bottom side.
Yeah, absolute chaos that point. I think both these teams were walking on the edge, and Ivy just finding the tipping point there. Yeah, if either of these teams had found that crucial kill, I think the point would have been theirs. But without, oh no, Wood has just died in the beam. I think she just walked into it, and that's a terrible spot for Hot Tofu to be in now. Nitro no evade, gonna find the nice strike though, but Pickshot unfortunately was in the punch animation, so couldn't strike the ball out. And yeah, I don't know, maybe Wood was too aggressive and had to walk back into the beam, but still, nothing you want to see out of your goalie.
Unfortunate spot for them, and they just have to bounce back somehow. Pickshot just unable to really get anything, but we'll find the KO actually. So now Wood trying to establish again the play and the offensive potential for Hot Tofu here, but Nero still defending it very well with Ivory Lies as well. I mean, the fact that you can just have a midfield like that instead of a brawler just makes it so much easier for you to defend as Ivory Lies tries to get onto the other side of the map, trying to keep the Kuro away as they will be hunted down. Power play continued, and Nitron pushing the agenda on the top side. A little bit of a dangerous spot to be in, especially with the Finny. They're able to really kind of knock you anywhere. Struck shot is good, but the KO is found once again for Pickshot, and Nitron able to capitalize with the flip too, but will be deflected. This defense is still holding on for dear life, and this Finny is indeed helping with the Luna too. Wood still in a spot, and will have to burn the flip, but they don't catch the core. And now on the other side, a little bit dire of a situation. Awkward burn, and the kill found onto Pickshot as well. So now on the other side, they have a power play, and the stun is just quite enough to win the set as Lucas with the red core brings it home as wildcards take set and potentially could be set match.
I mean, that was just a tragic collapse from Hot Tofu, honestly. Yeah, they just weren't able to convert. I think Pickshot maybe had a pass up to Nitron in that flip. I think it's an alright gamble, but after that, he kind of dashed into the beam, I'm pretty sure, and got himself out of the play. So, yeah, rough for them. It's going to be Drek now picking up the hot shot first pick. Does mean Nitron's going to pick up the Catalyst on second pick here, which is rather nice for the Amy, but maybe some of these points, on Inky is just going to go quicker than is going to give enough value for it. Outside of that, Pickshot, the recovery drone, I think is very nice for him, although it is Nitron who's maybe wishing he had it right now. Great offense, though, assisted by Wood's Siege Machine there, and a kill attempt out onto Nitron here is shut down and gets a lot of healing out of that Atlas ult, and it's actually Ivy the one who's a bit low right now, and Nitron has a flip here, going to be forced to use it, but it's not like it's in a bad spot as he finds a great dash to punish Nero once again.
Trying to breathe some life into his own team, trying to make sure that they're still in the game. And so far, just some unfortunate mishaps coming in, as now dash missed by Ivory Lies. Try to find a cheese kill there, as Wood still holds on with the Siege Machine value coming online, as well as Fire Up. Actually, one thing I've noticed is that they've been using the flips a lot, and even though they've been kind of sparingly used, it's still good now, because with Fire Up, they're able to make kind of something out of nothing as the passing plays come online. Great redirect from Ivory Live sets up the barrier, and the kill being found too! And missile prop value coming in clutch for Ivory Lies, as the goal and the KO is found and resets the energy economy for Hot Tofu.
Yeah, I mean, as you said, missile prop value. Hey, Deadeye would not have procced there in that range, so the missile prop coming in strong as a flip comes out. I mean, these guys are some freaks on the enemy team, all of them just running at Nitron there, using flips as well, but Ivy, cool, calm and collected with a great flip, or dash rather, to just get the barrier onto Wood, who now has no secondary, has no primary either, has flip, but not for long if she's taken off the map, off the field, and a nice dash and pick shot does save it, but the Finny ult pop just means he can't get close enough to flip the ball on the defense.
Tofu in a bit of hot water on match point, set point, and series point for wildcards. The dominant team still showing that they're the best, and again, a very quick barrier take is not what you want to see, and the flip defended away from Nero still is good. Water cannon out to the bottom side, pushing the core, pushing the agenda, getting hungry for a bit of orbs there, as the core ends up slipping through Nitron's gasp, and now still in a lot of dire predicament is Hot Tofu, and they will collect the goal for their troubles as they try to stay alive in the waters of Inky's splash zone. And this time around, they're the ones not in the driver's seat, as I realize still has Flip raring to go, ready to find any cheese kill coming into the last point of this set. Flip burnt away as Wood has to defend with the secondary, but the goal still is found, and Lucas just needs to do something, I mean anything, to put that goal in the net. A very anticlimactic point to send it home for the Wildcards to take this series 2-0 fashion and will be crowned the first EUSC winners.
Yeah, also, Nero didn't deserve to win that set after what he just did in the point they lost. He just left. He doesn't even have Orb Dancer, he just left. All good though, they got it done. Yeah, in very dominant form here, showing, I mean, hey, outside of EUSC, I don't know what other metric there is to prove who's the best team in Europe. I haven't heard of it, so there you go. Wildcards, best team in both leagues, it seems. And, you know, with them being in playoffs, I think it won't matter much to them, potentially this seeding, but it's very nice to be able to say we beat everyone in this tournament, and we got the chip, and hopefully they'll be back for any future EUSCs that might come up.
Yeah, Wildcards playing off a dominant performance, fitting for the number 3 team in EUSL, one of the best to do it. And of course, and it begs the question, how far will they go in EUSL? But that is a tale, a story for another time, as we will actually end the stream here. So thank you for watching. We'll see you guys next week for playoffs in EUSL. So don't go anywhere. Stay tuned for next week.
Goodbye.